What I have for you guys today is a new e-bike from Himiway. It's called the C5 and it is a looker for $22.99, and it's from a company called Himiway. So I'm going to tell you all about it. I'm going to take it for a ride. I'm going to give you some pros and cons of this machine right here. Himiway, they've been producing e-bikes for a few years, so really good company, but now they seem to have received an injection of investment because this is a whole new line of bikes. I think they want to compete with Super 73 and Surron, these companies that are taking over the world of the kids and the commuters. And they have a motorcycle looking bike, but it's a class 2 e-bike, meaning it's a pedal assist, has a throttle, but it only goes to 20 miles an hour. And $22.99 is pretty darn good for the package that they've put together. So what they have is an aluminum frame, kind of moto style, triple clamp fork, and rear air shock suspension. So 150 millimeters of travel on the front, and I believe it's close to there on the rear, on the air shock, 140, 150. And they have a 750 watt motor average, probably peaks out a little more, and they have a 960 watt hour battery. So good for about 60 to 80 miles of range. So very dialed package. It has a nice headlamp and nice taillight. In the back, they have Shimano Altus 7-speed shifting and Tektro hydraulic brakes to stop this thing. About 88 pounds for this guy, and it can carry a payload or a person of up to 330 pounds or 350 pounds, I believe. So something interesting is, instead of just a pretend pedals like a lot of the Super 73s with a single speed, this has a 7-speed. So you can actually, this is meant to be pedaled, and instead of a cadence sensor, which is kind of like an on-off switch for the motor, it has a torque sensor. So it senses how much work you're putting in, and that's how much the motor is going to assist you. So it's a very natural feeling bike, and I'll show you guys in a minute. I'm gonna ride around here in the park, and it's pretty darn cool. It's responsive, easy to maneuver, and everything is tight. Everything is dialed. It's like quality I haven't seen from other companies, including Himiway before. Although we did have the C1, which is the kids bike, and we have a review right here. And oh man, I gave that bike to a kid and they're having so much fun, and I have a little envy, like, man, I want something that cool, and here it is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ride around, put a GoPro on, maybe have my drone follow me around, and then come back here and I'll give you some pros and cons and bottom line of this machine.
All right, let's take it out for a test ride, and we shall start with a hill climb, see how strong this motor is. And right there you see me not even pedal, start uphill about a 5% grade, and it has no problem whatsoever. So really cool, very torquey motor, and with a small wheel it does have a lot of power, and it does have useful gears and a torque sensor. So if there's a situation where it's steeper, you can definitely help out, get it up to speed. These kind of motors, they work well when they have some speed. Standstill is tough for them because you can't change gears, or changing gears doesn't affect them. So here we go, very cool. So a little bit about this bike: aluminum frame, has coil front fork, air rear shock, which is good. You can adjust to your weight. About 150 millimeters of travel, and pretty nice tires. Kenda 20-inch by 4.0, so a little bit fat tires. You can adjust your tire pressure to give you comfort. But one of the highlights is the 960 watt hour batteries. That's almost 1 kilowatt, giving you 60 to 80 miles of range, even with a 750 watts of brushless motor, which has some gear reduction. So Shimano Altus 7-speed, the best brakes in what you see in e-bikes, Tektro, And it's an 88-pound machine, but you know, riding it around right here, it's pretty agile. I'm gonna go through these stairs several times, never a problem, except for my coffee cup, my Himiway coffee cup, dropping out every once in a while. It can handle 330 pounds of weight, and I think very cool that they have an air shock, because the rear is not one size fits all. You could pump it up if you're 300 pounds and really let out some air if you're 100 pounds, you know, probably like a lot of high schoolers would. So it's a nice package. You know, what kid wouldn't like this? $2,299. It give them the freedom, hang out with friends, be cool without driving. And you know, as a parent, you know, you're like, okay, I think that'll be pretty safe. It's got good equipment and it doesn't go over 20 miles an hour. So compelling package here for sure. So another thing is, we did take this thing off-road, climbed a big hill, did a good downhill, and it was very capable. So it's a worthy package, unlike what you see in most e-bikes and in fat bikes. Those things are just kind of bouncy. I wouldn't dare do these stairs on some of those fat bikes, which have uncontrolled rebound. I kept doing these parking lot stops as well. It was never a problem. So you know, anyone who rides this thing for the first time will instantly feel comfortable. So that, I think it's a big asset.
Okay, pros and cons. The quality and the design is there. Really, it's just kind of impressive, really, of what's available right now for the price. So for $22.99, it's pretty darn good, and it rides really well. You know, the seat is so comfortable. The ergonomics are very well put together. So you know, really a nice package. Not to mention that it looks awesome. And with the kids nowadays, you know, the high schoolers and the college kids, they want something that looks great, right? So they and that's one way to get them on a bike or commuting to school and whatnot. So very cool package. On the downside, I would say, you know, it's a true class 2 e-bike, so 20 miles an hour it just stops. Even when you're pedaling, the motor is not gonna keep going. So, and I didn't find a way to adjust it. In the old Himiways you could, and some other e-bikes, but on this one I wasn't able to find it. So that could be a disadvantage for you guys if you want to go a little faster. 28 miles an hour is not unreasonable, especially if you're commuting on the street. So this one will only go 20. But you know, really, you know, that's really the only downside I could see. It's seating position. Obviously you can adjust your seat, so it's not as easy to work hard, but it is a very natural pedaling bike. Has a little cup holder right here, little carbon fiber, really first-rate materials. You know, the tire designed by Kenda, kind of nice mud guard here, and the suspension, the fact that it's air in the rear with a little bit of damping means you could adjust it to your weight. So you'll see in my running video how much fun I've had with it. All right, thanks a ton, everybody.